Hey everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic.com, and the festive season is almost upon us. God, what are trees like, eh? They're mad. You wouldn't believe how long it took to set this up, and Owen was fiddling about with it for ages and ages. Anyway, I digress, because the final WWE pay-per-view of 2020 is almost upon us as well. It is, of course, TLC. And of course, we will be doing some predictions for TLC as well. In this predictions contest, because we won at Survivor Series, it's going to be myself versus Tom Campbell versus Sam Driver. And the winner will receive, obviously, the Cultaholic Heavyweight Championship. Currently vacant, but handily in my flat at the moment. So that's all right, isn't it? And just before we crack on with everybody's predictions as well, I should mention that Adam Pacitti will be streaming his live reactions to TLC on YouTube on Sunday night. And I'll be doing a What Happened Now video, Tom will be doing a graded, Ross will be doing a WTF Moments, you know the score. So first up, let's talk about The Fiend versus Randy Orton. I'm going to go for The Fiend in this one because I think the fact that Orton has held the WWE Championship so recently means that there's no need for him to get another big win over somebody else in the main event scene right now. He can afford to dip a bit lower down the card. Whereas The Fiend, he seems to be on the up once again. So I just think logically that's what's going to happen. Also, The Fiend can survive being burned alive. So anybody who picks Orton's a fool, right?
In an ideal world, you'd never have something like The Fiend lose a match, but we don't live in an ideal world, do we? We live in this weird hellscape version of the world where The Fiend is a top babyface on Monday Night Raw. So I have this horrible feeling in my waters that he's going to lose to Randall Keith. Alexa Bliss will somehow be used as a bargaining tool for the match, maybe even be the reason that The Fiend loses altogether. But I feel weird saying it. I'm not saying I'm happy about it, but I have a feeling that this is going to go towards RKO winning. So I'm picking Randy Orton. What a weird thing to say. I'm picking Randy Orton.
Now, I'm going to go for The Fiend on this one. I know we've already had some semblance of brutality teased with the fire and everything, but I think the crazier and wilder it gets, the more it leans into The Fiend's territory. TLC is, of course, as good a reason as any to bust out some of the crazier, more violent wrestling style that we don't really see too much of today in WWE. So yeah, I think they're going to go pretty ham with it, and I think The Fiend is going to win.
Next up, the Women's Tag Team Championship match. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax defending the belts against Asuka and a mystery partner. We don't yet know who it's going to be. We'll throw in a bonus point for anybody who correctly guesses the mystery partner. I'm going to go for Charlotte Flair, and I'm going to say that the challengers, Asuka and presumably Charlotte, will win the match. But not too confident on that one because I don't really know who else the mystery partner could be. There's quite a fair few candidates when you really think about it, which I'm sure the other lads might mention in just a second. But I am confident in saying that I think that Asuka and mystery partner will win. Often in these situations, I think the mystery partner usually wins, so I don't want to deviate from tradition. I'm going with Asuka and redacted.
We are about to go, I believe, from one odd couple tag team reign to another odd couple tag team reign. I think Asuka is going to be one half of the women's tag team champions by the end of the night. The other half, possibly Charlotte Flair. And I feel like that's an awful idea, but I feel like that might be the thing. Asuka and Charlotte have history. There's a rivalry there between the two. And obviously it was Nia Jax that took out Charlotte all that time ago. So there's a little bit of storyline reasoning for that. But the idea of Charlotte getting revenge on Jax and then becoming champion that doesn't get along with Asuka. Yeah, again, like the Fiend Orton match. I don't say I like it, but I'm calling it. I reckon we're going to see Charlotte Flair and Asuka as WWE Women's Tag Champs by the end of the night.
I'm going to take Asuka and mystery partner in this one. It could, of course, be Lana, but, it's likely to be, and all the rumors are suggesting that it's potentially Charlotte Flair, and maybe Asuka teaming up with the first person who was ready for her in the company. Maybe that'll be a nice little story you can weave there. But as I said, we may actually end up seeing Lana there after all. I think the whole thing with Nia and Shayna, it's kind of run its course by now, hasn't it? It just feels like the right time to maybe change these belts.
Next up, the Raw Tag Team title match between the New Day and the Hurt Business. The This was a bit of a difficult one for me, actually. I'm not quite certain still who to pick, but I'm going to go with the New Day to retain for now, but I think this feud will continue, and I think eventually the Hurt Business will become Raw Tag Team Champions. I think that Matt Riddle might get involved, waltzing down like he does to save the day for his boys maybe, because he just wants to make friends, and has recently got into it with the Hurt Business. He squashed MVP on Raw this week. I feel like he's probably going to take the US title from Bobby Lashley at some point. So for now, I can see him costing the Hurt Business this match, and I think the New Day will retain the belts.
For several weeks on Raw, the Hurt Business has had the number of the New Day. So it makes sense that on the night where the odds feel stacked against the New Day, they are going to somehow get through this as Raw Tag Team Champions. So I'm predicting the New Day to walk out still the champions, but I don't think their reign's lasting long. I wouldn't be shocked if they lose it before the end of the year, but certainly on pay-per-view night, we are going to see Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston somehow pull out a victory over the Hurt Business.
No, I'm going to take the Hurt Business on this one because I think it could have some interesting storyline repercussions. This could be me going a little bit too far in on it in my head, but you know, with the New Day being broken up as a three-piece and with Big E off chasing gold of his own, maybe it'd be cool to have a bit of a crisis of confidence here with Kofi and Xavier. The other thing it'll do here is get the belt off the New Day so that they can win them back and add yet another reign to their long list of storied accomplishments. So I'm going to go with the Hurt Business.
Next up, the first of our two TLC title matches, Roman Reigns defending his Universal Championship against Kevin Owens. And as much as I would love to see Kevin Owens win it, because I think he's great, he's one of my favourite wrestlers in WWE, you've got to go for Roman Reigns here, haven't you? I don't see any scenario which lends itself well to Kevin Owens winning this match, and I think I'm going to have to put my bias towards Kev aside a little bit and admit that Roman winning is the best right now for the overall storyline heading into WrestleMania. If anybody else picks Kev, I'll be amazed, but let's find out.
Good to see Kev in the mix at the top of the card with Roman Reigns. I think they'll have a great match. I think Kev and Roman will work beautifully together. But I don't think this is Roman's time to call it a day as champion yet. And I'll be amazed if anybody on this predictions video thinks that this is going to be Kev's night to win. I feel like it's going to be a great match. I feel like a big bump is coming in this one. But I think Roman Reigns will remain head of the table heading into 2021 and heading towards WrestleMania. This is merely a bump on the road. He is leaving TLC as the Universal Champion still.
I'm going to go for Roman in this one, and I feel like it's going to be a pretty aggressive match. It's for sure going to be the biggest test of Roman's reign so far. Do you see what I did there? It'll probably involve Jay to a degree, but I'd imagine that'll come after the bell, with Roman further dehumanizing his cousin and making him do things that he doesn't necessarily want to do. This will just keep all that bubbling away, and it means, you know, Kevin Owens is going to have a hell of a match, but he ain't going to walk out the champ.
Next up, the SmackDown Women's Championship match. The champion Sasha Banks defending against Carmella. I'm going to go for Sasha in this one, but I think she might win by DQ. I think Carmella might overstep the bounds, hit her with a chair or a champagne bottle or something, and get herself disqualified. But then Sasha would still win, and I'd still get the lovely point. At the same time, I'm not quite certain where this is going, because they've built up Carmella quite a lot, but I don't think she's going to take that title from Sasha so soon after that feud with Bayley. So I'm sticking with Sasha Banks for now, but this one's an intriguing one.
I've enjoyed some of the stuff I've seen with Carmella coming back. There's a new vibe to what she's doing, but I don't think she's becoming SmackDown Women's Champion. I think the Sasha Banks and Bayley thing was so beautifully put together that I think they're going to keep Sasha champion a little while longer. I feel like there's another opportunity to revisit Sasha and Bayley next year, and it'd be great if Sasha is still the champion at that point. So I don't think Carmella's winning this one. I think Sasha Banks walking out still the SmackDown Women's Champion.
I'm going to take Sasha in this one. She's just broken the curse, hasn't she? So it'd be a bit of a weird time to take the belt off her right now. I feel like it could possibly end in some sort of DQ, potentially involving Bayley, just to keep that overarching feud going between Sasha and Bayley. Because even like last week, Bayley was making fun of Sasha before she turned her attentions to Bianca Belair. Sasha's also been a little bit on the back foot against Carmella. Carmella steamrolled over her on SmackDown the other week, so I think that it's going to be a lot of that, with Sasha slowly finding her feet and getting back into the rhythm and then eventually securing a victory. Unless it's DQ, and if it's DQ, then she's gonna retain, isn't she?
And finally, the second of 2 announced TLC matches, Drew McIntyre defending the WWE Championship against AJ Styles. This one to me is quite similar to the Roman situation. Like, it seems like both Roman and Drew are not going to be letting go of those titles all the way to WrestleMania probably, and might not even lose them at WrestleMania. We could be proven wrong quite easily, but that seems to be the general consensus for now. So I'm going to go safe. I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre. Miz may attempt to cash in, and if he does, I think he'll probably fail.
Iron Drew has had the odds stacked against him heading into this one. Miz and Morrison knocking about, Omos hanging around at ringside as well. But Drew McIntyre has been that champion that just continues to defy the odds, and I think he will do that once again at TLC. And maybe we'll even see, in fact, I'm going to call it, I think the Miz will consider a cash-in. I don't think he will cash in, but I think we'll come close to maybe possibly getting one by the end of the night. But Drew will leave TLC still the WWE champion, and you'll have a big sword as well, because he's Scottish.
And I'm going to take Drew in this one because, I mean, 1, Drew's our guy. We can't go against Drew. That's just, it's not right, is it? 2, it'd be quite some upset storyline-wise if AJ was to take the title here. I feel like it makes a lot more sense to keep the belt on Drew. Have a great match, of course, but keep the belt on Drew here and just extend that through to WrestleMania, where we have a more natural end point for the reign, a bigger moment. It just feels right that it would end at Mania.
So that is it for our TLC 2020 predictions. Thank you very much for watching. And remember, of course, Adam Pacitti will be streaming his reactions on YouTube. That's youtube.com/cultaholic/live, I think. It is. I've just checked. So thank you very much for watching. Have a great Christmas. Enjoy the holidays and all of that. But before that, let's enjoy TLC. God damn it.